Hi there, welcome here to Distillique, where today we're talking about training, specifically our online training and more specifically our C10 Comprehensive Distilling course. Now our C10 Comprehensive Distilling course is our Ferrari course. It is our top of the line training course, what a lot of people colloquially refer to as our masterclass. Now please note, just because they call it the masterclass doesn't mean you're entitled to call yourself a master distiller after the completion of this course. Me personally, I have very big issues with people calling themselves master distillers because kind of pretentious, if you ask me, because how can you ever be a master? Anybody that's ever distilled or distilled, regardless of how long they've been distilling, will tell you that you're never too old to learn, you never know everything. But what we do try with the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course is to give you, as the name implies, a comprehensive overview of all the different skills and techniques that you need in order to become an all-round distiller. A distiller that can basically handle any raw material, any product category. So as such, our C10 Comprehensive Distilling course is an amalgamation or a combination of all our W courses as well as our C1 Introduction to Distilling course. Now this is excluding our W12 course, which is our fruit wine course, as well as our W20 and 21 courses, which is our plate column operations and multi-column operations courses. Vacuum distilling, which is W21 if I remember correctly, vacuum distilling is also not included in our C10 course. So C10 consists out of C1, Introduction to Distilling, which is our foundation course, where you learn everything you need to know about the basics of distilling, safety during distillation, distillation history, legal home distilling in South Africa, as it applies to legislation, the basic principles of distilling, as well as in-depth discussions on fermentation, distillation, and spirit enhancement. All the different techniques that you need to know in order to change the spirit and enhance the spirit after distillation. We then build on that and add to that information by adding in the W1 course, which is fruit-based spirits, the fruit-based spirits course. There we look at dealing specifically with fruit as a raw material, as well as the unique skill set you need in order to work with fruit-based spirits, specifically fractional distillation, where we distill into the tails to look for the flavors and aromas to naturally enhance the flavor and aroma profile of the final spirit, and add in naturally mouthfeel and lingering aftertaste. We then add on W2, which is grain-based spirits, where we look at whiskey, moonshine, and vodka, and all the techniques unique to working with grain-based spirits and making those spirit categories. We look at things like starch conversion, barrel aging, multiple distillations, high reflux distillations, and so forth is covered in the W2 section of the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course. We then move on to W4, which is infused spirits, gin and botanicals, but also then spirit aperitifs, spice drums, and so forth, the broad range of spirits that can be used or can be made using the different infusion techniques. This includes infused distillation, vapor infusion, direct infusion, indirect infusion, vacuum infusion, and so forth. All of these techniques is covered in that section of the course, as well as sensory analysis, blending, all of those type of aspects is covered as well. There's also discussions on marketing, brand building, making your brand stand out from the rest. Also the use of tasting panels in product development and market research. That is also discussed in the W4 section of the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course. We then end off the course with the W5 section. W5 is the high brix raw materials course. And there we look at working with raw materials like molasses, honey, maple syrup, all kinds of syrups and so forth that contains high quantities of sugar. There we look at sugar calculations, combining sugar sources, also in further discussion on fractional distillation, the use of dunder, and so forth. That is all discussed in that last section. Now, the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course is unique amongst our training courses in the sense that there is an exam at the end. All of our other courses, you can get an attendance certificate. There is an additional charge for the printing and the courier of the attendance certificate, as it is optional and not standard included. But for the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course, there is an actual exam. And if you get more than 70% for this exam, then you receive your certificate that you are now certified by Distillique as having successfully completed the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course. Now, this certificate or certification is accepted in several countries internationally as a proof of competence in order to work in a distillery and obtain a distillery license. That's why so many of our international students do the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course, because in many countries this proof of competence is required in order to be allowed to work in a distillery, and our course is accepted in many of those countries for this proof of competence. So that is the C10 Comprehensive Distilling course. Now, the manual that's included in this, there's actually multiple volumes to the manual. It's over, I think, close to 700, 800 pages. It is a very comprehensive course. There's a lot of information that's shared in this course. The rate of work is quite high, which is why it's actually beneficial to do this course online. Because normally, we have to cover all this information in a 1 week period, from a Monday to a Friday, or a 5-day period, about 40 odd hours. We have to cover all of this information. To give you an idea, on the online version of this course, the course is in excess of 62 hours of information, video lectures, practical demos and so forth. So there's a lot more shared in the online version of this course. You also have 6 months of access to the course material. So if you have a day job, because that's a lot of a problem for a lot of people, is they couldn't take a week off to attend the course even though they wanted to. Now you can do it in the evenings, and you can do an hour an evening or so forth. You can do it over 2 months, and you still have 4 months to revisit the material, relook at the material, redo practicals while watching the videos and so forth. So there's a lot of information shared, and you have a long-term access to this information in order to get the maximum benefit out of the training. So that is our C10 Comprehensive Distilling course. I hope this answered all your questions that you might have about this course. Please look at the course details on our website under the training section for a full breakdown of all the course material.